It tops our world lead as Syria's new rebel leaders say they will not pardon Assad regime officials who tortured and killed prisoners during the decades of his brutal reign. CNN's Clarissa Ward went to a Syrian prison to find someone still locked in a cell with no idea that Assad's regime had fallen.
Deep in the belly of the regime's Air Force intelligence headquarters,
these are English letters.
We are hoping to find traces of Austin Tice, an American journalist held captive in Syria since 2012. It's one of many secret prisons across the city. This specific branch was tasked with surveillance, arrest, and killing of all regime critics.
These are all cleaned out.
We don't find any hints of Tice, but come across something extraordinary.
I can't tell though, it might just be a blanket, but it's the only cell that's locked. Is he gonna shoot it?
The guard makes us turn the camera off while he shoots the lock off the cell door. We go in to get a closer look. It's still not clear if there is something under the blanket.
Oh, it moved. Is there someone there? I thought I saw it move. Is someone there? Or is it just a blanket? I don't know.
I think it's someone. Hello?
Okay, it's just moving.
I'm a civilian, he says. I'm a civilian.
It's okay. It's okay.
He tells the fighter he's from the city of Homs and has been in the cell for 3 months.
Okay, you're okay. You're okay. You're okay. You're okay.
He clutches my arm tightly with both hands.
Okay. Does anyone have any water? Water.
بدي اشرب مي.
مي. Okay, it's water. It's water. Okay. Okay. Okay, you're okay. You're okay. You're okay.
We start to walk him outside. Thank God you are safe. Don't be afraid, the fighter says. You are free.
جابوني. هي ثالث سجن.
This is the third prison they brought me to, he says. The third prison. After 3 months in a windowless cell, he can finally see the sky.
الله ضوء. الله ضوء. يا الله.
My God, the light, he says. Oh God, there is light. My God, there is light.
Okay.
خليكم معي.
You're okay.
Stay with me, stay with me, he repeats again and again.
خليكم معي. خليكم معي إلى 3 شهور.
For 3 months, I didn't know anything about my family. He says. I didn't hear anything about my children.
حيشوفوك هلا حيشوفوك على التلفزيون. ما بعرف شو عن أولادي والله ما بعرف شو عن أهلي.
The fighter hands him something to eat.
لا.
He barely lifted it to his mouth.
أوكي.
But his body can't handle it.
Okay, you're okay.
His captors fled during the fall of Damascus, leaving him with no food or water. That was at least 4 days ago. I'm shaking. My face is shaking, he says. The rebel tells him there's no more army, no more prisons, no more checkpoints. Are you serious, he says? Surya Harra. Syria is free, he tells him. It's the first time he has heard those words. He tells us his name is Adil Khurbal, and that officers from the much-feared Mukhabarat intelligence services took him from his home and began interrogating him about his phone. They brought me here to Damascus. They asked me about names of terrorists, he says. Did they hit you, the fighter asks? Yes, yes, he says. As a paramedic arrives, the shock sets in. There's nothing. Everything's okay. The Red Crescent is coming to help you, this man assures him. You are safe. Don't be afraid anymore. Everything you are afraid of is gone. Tens of thousands of Syrians have disappeared in Assad's prisons. Up until 15 minutes ago, Adel Khurbal was one of them. He is still petrified. Don't be afraid, the ambulance worker reassures him. Every car I got into, they blindfolded me, he says. It is the end of a very dark chapter for him and for all of Syria. But so many ghosts remain. Jake, I have to say, I have been doing this job for nearly 20 years now, and that really was one of the most extraordinary moments that I have ever witnessed. We don't know why the regime of Bashar al-Assad took Adel Khubar. He doesn't know why they took him. He was basically living a very simple life in the city of Homs in an area called Khaldiya. He said the Mukhabarat basically came to his house and said that there was some issue with people he had been making phone calls with. But we have to be very clear here. This is the type of thing where the Mukhabarat would take anyone with impunity. They would detain them, they would interrogate them, they would beat them, they would keep them for months, years on end. They didn't have to give a reason. You didn't even have to be an activist. You didn't even have to be part of the opposition against Bashar al-Assad. So many of the people, Jake, who disappeared inside these dungeons were ordinary Syrians struggling to understand what on earth they had done to get there in the first place. We don't know where Adel Khurbal is now. He got into that ambulance. We offered to give him our phones to call his family, but as you can see in that moment, he was in a state of profound shock. He wasn't able to collect himself to the point where he was able to get in touch with his family. But all of us, of course, are wishing that he is safely reunited with them and that all of the prisoners who have been held for so long without any legal recourse, those who are alive, will be returned to their loved ones soon, Jake.
Tonight, CNN's Jumana Karacha is in Damascus, where residents are coming to grips with the uncertainty of the country's historic rebellion.
Across Syria, we're seeing scenes like this, military vehicles left abandoned on the sides of roads and highways. And if you look around here, you see these troops shed their military uniforms, you see combat boots, you see their belongings everywhere. And perhaps giving us an indication of how this collapse happened is it appears these soldiers fled fast. In this location, at least, we're not seeing any signs of them putting up a fight. 72-year-old Bashir Saman is here with his son and his grandchildren. Did you ever imagine that this day would come?
Really, no. No, at least in my few years left in my life, but I'm afraid of one thing.
What?
That someone will come up and say, this is candid camera.
You still can't believe it happened, can you?
No.
I still feel like I'm still watched or something. Like, is there a camera anywhere or something?
We're seeing a lot of people stopping here for photos, climbing on the tanks, people bringing their children, telling us that this is history and they want their children to witness it.
احنا شعب اليوم الشعب السوري حر والحمد لله راح نضل احرار خلصنا من المجرم الكلب بشار اسد وطاقيته والبشار كلب والبشار كلب.
Syrians still can't believe what they're seeing. The long-feared security apparatus and military just melted away.